Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to a new episode of My Wednesday Comics, May 14th, 2025. Let's go. It's a beautiful day. Time for some comics, time for some comics talk. This is my weekly show. My name is Rocky Ballesteros, and I missed last week's show of My Wednesday Comics because I was feeling, it was last week, I think, right, that I missed. I was feeling a little bit under the weather, couldn't get it all together and, I don't know, fix myself to be presentable enough to go over comics. But I didn't pick up that many books last week, and I'm actually going to go over the books that I did pick up last week, combine it all into this super show today. But yeah, I missed it last week, and you do feel like, hey, I kind of missed talking about comics. I missed hanging out with the chat. Unfortunately, we had the Master Study stream earlier this week where we did get to connect and talk more comics and just have fun hanging out with each other in the chat. But the OCD part of me, like, if you think about the calendar of my life and seeing that My Wednesday Comics checked off every week, the OCD part of me is just like, dang it, I missed that one week. So it's okay, it happens. And with a weekly show, you kind of got to expect sometimes you can't make it all the time, but it's good that even if you miss a Wednesday, there's a new one coming up in 7 days. So here we are, time for My Wednesday Comics, and I'm really excited to share with you guys stuff that I got this week and possibly something that I got in the mail as well if we have time. I do have a little bit of a hard stop today, so I'm not so free flowing yappity yap that time can be wasted on on just blabbing my mouth. But I do have a hard stop today. I probably got about 2.5 hours, which sounds short in the grand scheme of things. I mean, it sounds long in the grand scheme of things, but it's actually short when it comes to just talking about comics. Like, I could talk about comics all day. Just ask anybody that knows me and that has gone into a conversation about comics. I can talk about comics all day. And if it's not reviewing comics, if it's not sharing comics, if it's not looking at old comics, if it's not trying to draw my own comics or master study other comics, yeah, I'm constantly thinking of comics. It's a little bit of a disease, a little bit of a problem. But we're going to move at a good pace today because I do have quite a number of books. Going to go over the books that I got last week and the books I got this week, which were a good chunk. One thing I mentioned in the description when I posted it on X just a few minutes ago to say, hey, we're going live. And if you haven't subscribed to me on X, please do. I do, as much as I stream about comics on YouTube, I also post other stuff on X as well. So if X is your platform, subscribe to me there at Rocky INC Incorporated. You can subscribe to me there. And I do post other stuff from time to time about comics other than what I do on YouTube. But one thing I mentioned in the description before of this stream is there's a couple books that I'm ready to cut from my regular pull list. I've given them a good run, and I'm ready to go on a case-by-case basis. So I'm going to talk about that this week because I got to make room for other books. Some new books came out this week, which are kind of interesting and for sure worth multiple issues. So I can't keep everything in my pull list. I'm not infinitely wealthy that I can just be a subscriber to every single book out there. So that's part of the reason from the very origination of this channel of calling it My Wednesday Comics, because I'm not one of those reviewers that just reviews all the books out there. And there's plenty of great reviewers out there that do that, and they can even buy those books and go over it. I just review the books that are interesting to me, and there's different reasons for that. A lot of the times that's focused on the art, but also the story and the comic storytelling that goes into it. So I give books a good run, but there have to be certain things that keep me engaged to make it a regular book that I pick up. So we'll talk a little bit more about that this week, today too, in this episode. But now we are shooting the fat because I am going what I like to call shooting the fat because I'm going to catch up here in the chat. All you fine fellows, ladies, guys in the chat. Got to say hello to my friends. Mark's Music Obsession. What are you doing? How's it going, Mark? Mark jumped in here like a bat out of hell. Come on, memberships. That's right, Mark. We are at 553 subscribers, amazingly enough. And for the Mark Music Obsession metric, we are, I should always have this ready to go, but 553 subscribers, 2,830. Maybe I should have like a ticker in the corner. Yeah, maybe I should do that. I'm going to write a little note for myself. Ticker. Watch hour ticker. But then sometimes the hours go down on YouTube because I think it's constantly like adjusting. The algorithm is adjusting to like make sure the watch hours are legit and they're not just, you're not just gaming the system. So I don't know, that could end up shooting me in the foot if I put a ticker before every show, but maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I wrote down myself a note. So 2,832 watch hours. We're shooting for 3,000. And then once we hit 3,000, in theory, then you apply for monetization. And then, people can pay to be a member or do super chats, all that kind of fun stuff that helped elevate this channel. So that's where we're gunning for. Other than putting out fun comics content for free, we're gunning for that just to, at the very least, offset the cost of comics every week because it is pricey. And another reason why I need to cut some things out of my list because it gets pricey. But thanks for being here, Mark. Awesome to see you. It looks like it's pool and beach weather where Mark's Music Obsession is in sunny Florida. 81 with an 88 heat index. That is way too hot for me. I'm already sweating just thinking about how hot that is. I mentioned in the chat, I'm at a beautiful 60 degrees here. Wonderful weather, nice and sunny, not a cloud in the sky. And 60 is perfection for me. Granted, I'm not at the beach and I'm not swimming, so that would be cold. But yeah, that's perfection for me. Mark says, the coldest winter I ever spent was a summer in San Francisco. I have heard that quote, and it is pretty accurate. Summers here can get quite chilly, so it defeats the purpose of it being summer. But we're having some beautiful weather right now, and I am not complaining about that in the slightest. John's here.
He goes, what's your name?
John says,
he goes, John.
Start over. John, we were just in the middle of the timer, so or the trailers, so I wasn't going to start over for that, but thank you for being here. Always good to see John. John, I don't think I've mentioned it recently, but I have in the past. But John holds the distinction of being my very first chat member. Like, he appeared in my very first live stream. You can go back and watch it. I have not taken it down out of embarrassment, although I should. But my very first live stream that I did, John popped up and he said, "What is going on? What is this?" I believe was the exact quote. So always good to see John, a staple of the chat. Mark's Music Obsession says, Shant still hasn't fixed the issue with his perks on the Spring Ball campaign. So that trailer that I just played before I went live was, as many of you know, the trailer for my good buddy Shanthan Jetty's new book, his new campaign coming out called Spring Ball Terminal Monstrosity, which is going to be awesome. And it's a throwback to everything that made Image 90s comics so fun and exciting. Ditko, McFarlane, Ditko meets McFarlane, he says. Spider-Man meets Evil Dead is his tagline on that, or his pitch for that. And it's going to be a great book. It's an awesome character, awesome story. Shant's killing it. Beautiful work on that. Go back that on his Indiegogo campaign. Somebody can drop the link in the chat. And so he just recently had an announcement that he has a special cover along with 2 covers that he did himself. He has a 3rd cover illustrated by comic professional John Malin. And he revealed it on stream and it looks So good. So I'm for sure, on top of what I already backed in that campaign, I'm for sure going to grab that one. And Shantha's still working on how to readjust the Indiegogo site to accommodate adding that on if you've already backed. So have patience, Mark. It'll happen. As you know, Shanth and tech are like oil and water. They can work together. They just don't mix properly sometimes, but he'll figure it out. If I know Shanth, he's definitely going to figure it out. He's been a little bit under the weather himself, and he's just been working hard nonstop. And sometimes he needs to stop and just like take care of himself a little bit. So John knows. John says Shanth and Tech do not seem to be friends. They're friends. They're just not dance partners. You know what I'm saying? They're friends. They're friends. Mo Biggs is here. What's up, Mo Biggs? Hail the chat. How are you doing? A super show, he says. Man, did I pick the right stream to tune into? Well, okay, maybe that was a bit of an overstatement. Super show. I mean, yes, it's going to be a super show, Mo Biggs. So thank you for coming. You won't regret it. But it's just a combination of the books that I looked at last week and this week. So it's all fun. It's great. It's just, as you know, anybody here who loves comics and collects comics, it's endless. Like there's threads you can follow that will lead you down a path that will lead you down millions of threads of like, oh, what about that? What about this? And I was just recently listening to a podcast by Rob Liefeld, who is one of the founders of Image Comics, creator of Deadpool, Cable, huge superstar artist and creator in comics. And I grew up with Rob Liefeld stuff, love it. So he does this podcast called Robservations. Well, he just recently started. I think he's going to do it on YouTube as well, like simultaneously on YouTube. So he'll have video as well. And he just launched his first episode. Go check out Rob Liefeld's YouTube channel. And actually, when he launched, I was chuckling at myself because I was like, I've got more subscribers than Rob Liefeld. That'll last about a minute. But I think he had like 300 something subscribers at the time when I was watching the first show. But yeah, he just launched that on a live, a recorded video of him doing his podcast. He's just talking about comics, and he's just so enthusiastic and has so much experience and knowledge, and he's really opinionated too. So it's a fun, it's not boring by any stretch of the imagination. But just hearing him talk, like he just goes down the rabbit hole of like stuff that he likes and remembering this issue and this run and this artist, and that's how comics is. It's just like it's endless, and I think that's what makes it so much fun. It's a bear to track when you are a collector. Like, where do you store all this stuff? Wow, what's worth plunking down cover price for something? What's worth waiting? What's worth waiting for compilations? All that kind of stuff. It all goes into it. But I think for me, you know, not knowing what's going to happen every week or what I'm going to discover every week is really part of the fun and the excitement. And yeah, there's a couple new things this week that I wasn't expecting at all. Didn't really know much about it, but was like, wow, that could be kind of a cool thing. So we'll look at that today in the Super Show. Mo Biggs. Where is CS and Emo? Where is Comet Sam and Emo? They're coming. I'm guessing they're coming. Somebody is going to hound them to come, right? No shooting the fat. No, we're shooting the fat. We are. We're just doing it at a faster pace today. And like, so you guys give me like 2-ish hours from right now. Give me a warning in the chat if I'm just rambling and I haven't started wrapping up by then, because I do need to watch my time. John says Rocky is comics minded. I am. It is an obsession. Just call it an obsession. Not really any better, just sounds better. It is. It's an obsession. Not an obsession. It's just it's a love. It really is. It sounds kind of hokey, and you guys watch at the end of my stream, the little outro, it says, "For the love of comics." It sounds hokey, but it's so true. I just love this medium so much as a storyteller myself, with the background in, I come from storytelling animation was my background as an artist. I've always loved comics. It's always been part of who I am as an artist. And just now, as I've gotten older, going back and reintroducing myself to what I loved about comics. Why did it turn me down this path of storytelling? Like, why? Because I got so much enjoyment myself from stories and reading stories and escaping and fantasizing about, what ifs and like superpowers and all this kind of stuff. Like, I was captured. It captured my heart as a kid. And so now as an adult and having worked in an industry that is connected to it, I just see like so much potential, and the joy in it is a lot deeper. And it also forces you kind of to tap back into I don't know if it's necessarily the innocence of it all, but like what first captured your heart. It's like in relationships, right? You can be in a long relationship, in a marriage or whatever, and that it's always great to kind of go back to the original point of like, oh yeah, like that's what I was so attracted to that person, or that's why I decided to marry that person, or that's why I decided to step into a relationship with that person, because of X, Y, and Z, right? And so, you can go through the everyday of just like, oh yeah, we're connected, we're committed. But when you go back to that initial love, it's just like, oh right, you got to remind yourself of that. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. That was kind of a weird analogy, right? My wife is gonna watch this and be like, but that's where I'm at with comics now. I'm just re falling in love with it, and I don't know, just so excited. Just want to talk about it. So that's where we are. It is an obsession. Mark's Music Obsession says, strange, my last comment didn't post. Oh, sorry about that. Hashtag justice for Mark. Mo Big says, just pull out your inflatable money, Rocky. I'm still looking for the money tree. Like, I heard that there is a money tree, and I'm still looking for it, but I haven't been able to successfully grow one in my backyard yet. So that's a goal. Whoa. Memberships and super chats will fund those books. That's right. That's what we're hoping, right? Shant is all noble, and when he gets super chats, he's like, these fund the brushes and the paints that I'm putting into the work. For me, it's like, I just need more comics, guys. Forget the brushes. I'll pay for the brushes myself. Just get me more comics. No, it's fun. And I think it'll help memberships and super chats, all that kind of stuff. It'll just help up my game for what I can do with this channel. So it'll be fun. It's just nice to have a goal for something. Rocky is ready to drop the scintillating Scooby-Doo from the old pool list. Yeah, I've never picked up the Scooby-Doo comics. Never really been into Scooby-Doo comics. I did love the show growing up, but never the comic. I was never really into Archie comics. I would read Archie if that was the only thing there to read, but never really into it. I can appreciate the art in it, but yeah, I've never been into it. I'm more of like a superhero, fantasy, action, adventure kind of guy. The local comic shop would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for your meddling. Shooting yourself in the foot. I think Rocky really meant the malapropism. Holy moly. Shooting yourself in the hip. Yes, it's all mixed up, right? Chew the fat, shoot the whatever it was. Chew the fat, shoot the whatever the things I mixed up for shooting the fat. Now shooting the hip, shoot from the hip, or shoot from the foot. That's right. John is basically Rocky's golden wrench. The golden wrench. Is that what John is? Amazing. Here's the link for Shant's campaign. Definitely go back. He's doing great on that. I think he's in the middle of his second 30 days on that, but he's killing it. It's really great. Jeffrey Beats is here. What's up, Jeffrey Beats?
10% bogan, 50% bogan, 100% bogan.
From the land down under. Good day, all. Good to see you, Jeffrey Beats. Hail, Jeffrey Beats. Multiple people around the world seem to be sick recently the past few days. Well, it's going around. I think because, I don't know how, people who have like daily shows, not on YouTube even, just like people who have daily TV shows on whatever, like before it was, I don't know, whatever daily shows that you would watch, Good Morning America or whatever. And, rarely you would see people take sick days. So yeah, that must be something like you've got to, and I think it's more noticeable when you have quote unquote like a weekly show or a regular show. It's more noticeable when people get sick, but it's a grind. It definitely is a grind, and that was something that people told me when I decided that I wanted to try this YouTube thing. Is like, it's a grind. You got to keep it up. So got to drink your vitamins. You got to get psyched up every week. And fortunately, I have comics to invigorate me as the week turns, the new week comes. I'm like, what's coming out? Let's talk about it. Like, that's exciting. If I had to just make this up every week, this wouldn't last that long. So at least I have the weekly release of comics to like give me something to latch onto. Technology likes Sean, it just doesn't like him. That's right. That's right. He's in a situationship, as the young kids like to say, with technology. He's just unappreciated by the cutting edge in general. Poor dude got trend zoned. The ninja said she was busy today in the last stream. Oh, you're right, Mark. You are right. I think she was kind of getting on me of like, oh, no, you can't do it on Wednesday because I said I'm busy. So who knows? She might pop in here. If I know Comrade Sammy, she might sneak in here. Rocky, you're rambling. No need to qualify with a if I'm... Yeah, it's true. It's true. But it gives me something to ramble about. If you name it, you got to name it and claim it, John. That's what it is. I'm rambling. Women can often feel intimidated by super shows. We'll leave that one. We'll leave that one without any comment, without any additional comment. Let's see. RCO, what? RCO, not like MMO. RCO. What is that? Oh, Rocky's comic. Oh, that's a good one, Mark. Rocky's comic obsession. That's a good one. I like that. I might have to steal that one. I haven't seen enough episodes to differentiate when Rocky is considered to be rambling. Got it. Come on, Mo Biggs. Come on. Step it up, man. Just watch like the last any show. Watch any show first 20 to 30 minutes and you will understand where we're at. We're at 30-minute mark right now. You will understand where we are. That's right. That's right. I'm yampling. There we go. Fruit of the money tree. Come on, Trump's golden age. Archie comics were mostly funded by moms buying comics in the grocery checkout. It really does. I always remember Archie comics from like being in people's bathrooms in the basket next to the toilet. Like Archie comics would be there. It would be Archie comics and Reader's Digest would be in those baskets. And I'd always pick the Archie comics, So yeah. I mean, there's good stuff in Archie comics. Dan DeCarlo, original artist on Archie comics, incredible artist. I just never got into the everyday school. So same with our animated shows. I'm never really into it's like everyday school shenanigans. I was like, whatever. I need like aliens and like superpowers and drama. It's 60 degrees in mid-May. Of course, he's sick. Should have been at the entrance and a vending machine for the moms to give the bored kids while shopping. Yeah, you'd see them in like waiting rooms, Archie comics, because it was like a safe comic, right? Like it wasn't. And also the digest format is nice for multiple readers to like pass around. I think that's what worked really well. It's kind of like manga is now, right? That digest, thicker format keeps kids busy. My kids, when they're growing up, they would read, what is the name? Diary of a Wimpy Kid or, Geronimo Stilton. And they released those really smart for those kids in that digest format. And it's like you had multiple issues packed in there and it would keep a kid busy for, an hour or so. So they'd reread it over and over again, take it on car trips. So it was good. I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Well, manga does it, like I mentioned, and they were trying to do with, I put that away. The like DC Digest formats that they've released recently. I don't know what the verdict is, if they think that's like a successful model, but they've been putting like popular runs, say Watchmen or Batman Hush, and those like smaller digest formats. And I think it's for like commuters, it's for entry level, for people to get into comics and also to compete with the manga market. So it's kind of cool, you know. I'm curious to see the data that comes back on that, if that was a successful model and if they're going to keep doing it. It's a good price point. Those things are only $10, so really cool. What are we talking about? Strike Dragon. What's up, Strike Dragon? Welcome to see you. What are we talking about? We're talking about comics. That is what we're talking about. Archie versus manga is kind of what we're talking about. What's your favorite comic book series? Ooh, that is a good question, Strike Dragon. Currently, we'll talk about some of them today. Some of my regular series. I'm big on like giving comics a shot. If it looks like an interesting story, interesting art, concept, I'll give it a shot. Anything. But to keep me buying a regular series, that takes a lot, because you're plunking down regular money, and then also you really got to keep the reader engaged in a longer stretch, whether that's serializing the story or some sort of event, or the character's just super interesting. So some of the books that I'm looking at today, I will talk about, are books that have been, I guess you consider, my favorites. But if you were to talk about like my whole history, my whole experience reading comics, I would say some of my favorite comic book series are from X-Men. Uncanny X-Men was huge for myself growing up. Any of the Image runs, those books, Wildcats, Cyberforce, Spawn, Youngblood, all those are really deep in my system. But yeah, Uncanny X-Men, Chris Claremont, Uncanny X-Men, really shaped my childhood, and I consider some of my favorite books out there. For like miniseries, Frank Miller. If you've watched any of my shows, and if you haven't, subscribe to my channel, Strike Dragon. But if you've watched any of my shows, the name Frank Miller will come up quite often, and he's one of my all-time favorite comic book artists. And I love Dark Knight Returns is one of my all-time favorites. Watchmen is one of my all-time favorites. Been looking at some of that recently again. Batman Year One. So yeah, that's a broad question, but that's some of my answers for that. Growing Room, so to speak. Strike Dragon says X-Men goes so hard. What X-Men for you, Strike Dragon? Because like the current X-Men, I started reading the current Uncanny X-Men that's written by Gail Simone. I did a review. I called it a closer look review of issue 1 of that. I really liked that because it felt very Chris Claremont-y to me, very true to the Chris Claremont foundation that he set up in X-Men. But I have not kept up with that book recently, and it just fell off my radar. So, and I think that's pretty consistent with most people that are buying that or started buying that series right now. Like the sales have gone down for Uncanny. They just put out a whole bunch of X titles, like revamped X titles, too many, I think, at once. And they all started kind of hot, but then they haven't kept me engaged. Lastly, I'll say about this, Strike Dragon. See, I love to talk about comics. Lastly, I will say is I do like the Absolute line that's going on right now, specifically Absolute Batman. The 3 absolutes that I've been keeping up with. 4 is Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Superman, and Absolute Martian Manhunter. And I've been pleasantly surprised with all of those. The number one of those, I think, Absolute Batman, has kept me locked in, and that one is staying on my pull list for sure, just because the creative team on that is awesome. So, All right, let's see. Smash that like, peeps. Mark's Music Obsession says. Strike Dragon says, I enjoyed Claremont's Dark Phoenix. Classic. Claremont is by far the best, in my opinion, best X-Men writer. He built so many great arcs in that and developed so many amazing characters in that. Yeah, he's amazing. Have yet to read the new ones. Give it a shot. You know, they're compiling a lot of them in, they're starting to compile them in graphic novel form, which is a good way to like check out a story arc. Give it a shot and see, but I don't think you can get any better than like Dark Phoenix, Mutant Massacre, Fall of the Mutants. That was pinnacle X-Men for me. If you haven't read Fall of the Mutants, my goodness, that is the best. If sales went down on X-Men, I'm guessing Gail may have reverted to her silly Billy writing mode. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. She started strong. I will give her that. Like, I felt like she started strong. Maybe it's because she was riding on the backs of characters that we knew and love, like Rogue and Nightcrawler and Wolverine and Gambit. But with the introduction, at least where I started falling off, the introduction of the new characters, I was like, wasn't totally holding on to it. And for that series in particular, the villain of that first arc was this like female, this mom, like monster mom kind of thing. She wasn't really doing it for me. So that I was like, if you don't have a good villain in place to counter your strong character development of your heroes, it gets really lopsided. You have to have strength on both. And so, I mean, the Claremont run had so many great villains that were just as interesting, and you cared about what happened to them as the heroes. So, all right, let's see. Whew. Like Disney with their live action remakes, only they didn't start out hot. Yeah, don't even get me started. Disney, I don't watch those. Hey, now live action Jungle Book was solid. 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 10. Ugh, no. I'm very iffy too. I saw a trailer recently of the How to Train Your Dragon live action. I'm like, why are we doing this? I really loved the first movie. I thought the first movie was solid, like excellent movie, great, based off of great book series, great characters, great execution. And then to do it in live action, I was like, I don't know why. Like, why do we have to live actionify it? I don't know. It makes sense. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, what's up?
How do you say monkey in French?
Good seeing you, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Always a pleasure. John says Gail certainly would be intimidated by the Super Show. Claremont couldn't finish a storyline. What? Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. I don't want to hear that. What do you mean couldn't finish a storyline? He had a great, the ending of, like, speaking of Dark Phoenix, the ending of that was awesome. Fall of the Mutants. He would end it, but then he would keep going. I think that's the love I had for Chris Claremont stuff. Like, the characters would be changed and would grow and evolve, and he would keep going with that. Like, that whole storyline with Storm losing her powers and then becoming Mohawk Storm, and then, I mean, come on, like, and then that just continued on. It's not like, oh, we're gonna reset now. Like, I feel like he had a long runway to develop the characters and build them out. Not that he was perfect, but yeah. What do you mean he couldn't finish a storyline? Why are they doing it? Excellent question. See, in the art field, there are artists and hanger-ons. They don't qualify as right? There are executive boards, stockholders, and there are artists. It's true. Okay, let's get to the comics. Speaking of the Absolute line, this is the first book I'll talk about. This came out last week. And drumroll, sort of. Oh, wait. Sorry, my sound effects got me. Wait. Why did that get muted? Oh, sorry. Let me do that again. Drum roll. Absolute Superman is a book that I just told my comic book store take it off my list. Sad, but there was a few reasons why. Like, I was holding on. I thought it was getting better for me. I just feel like this story was dragging on a little bit. And the first arc at the end of issue 6 ended. And it ended pretty cool. Like, it was like, okay, kind of tried to wrap some stuff up. And then they're starting this new arc. And they didn't, it's a fill-in artist. And the artist on this, I'm not super familiar with his work. But the artist on this was like Carmine Di Giandomenico. I don't know who this artist is. Was okay on flipping through this book. It was okay. I think when you have a fill-in artist, and we'll talk about Absolute Batman in a second because it's another book I picked up. It came out this week. When you have a fill-in artist, that fill-in artist needs to really make a statement, in my opinion, because one, the reader is going to be constantly comparing them to the regular artist, and if part of the reason they're buying the book is because of the regular artist, and then you throw in this fill-in artist, that person needs to be able to stand on their own, and I feel like make a different statement. Like, make me understand why you were put in as a fill-in artist, not because you draw kind of like the regular artist, not because I don't know. You've got to hold your own. You got to hold your own because you got a little bit working against you. And for some odd reason, this artist, and no knock on them, I mean, they're good, they're solid, just didn't do it for me. Maybe it's because of the plot as well. I haven't read this book yet, but just flipping through it, when I flip through a book about Absolute Superman, I'm looking for Superman, and I'm looking for some dynamic pages with Superman, like grab my attention. And there's just a lot of, I don't know, it seems like a lot of busyness and setup already that I'm not, really looking for. I guess this is Brainiac now. And that it didn't grab me when I saw, sorry, there's a lot of reflection here. It didn't totally grab me when I saw that. I'm like, oh, this is the big introduction of Brainiac. They've been building up his storyline. He's just been this faceless entity in the computers, up to this point. And then this is kind of the revelation of him. It's like, I don't know. It didn't totally capture me. And it's funny because what I had just mentioned earlier about Rob Liefeld's podcast, one of the things he talks about in his last episode is the 90s run and that aesthetic, what they were doing, what they were trying to do with the artwork. And people poo-poo on it sometimes. But he has I believe a lot of what he says. Like, I'm on board with a lot of what he says because one of his criticisms is with artwork, the artists that are in mainstream comics now, they're lacking a little bit of that excitement or impact in their work. I kind of feel that way with this book. I don't know. I'll give it a shot. I'll read it. But the second they did this with a fill-in artist, and I'm not that excited about the direction they're going necessarily with it. It already made me go, okay, well, let me just pull the brakes on this book, and I'll make the judgment every week when it comes out. I'll make the judgment when I open up the book, flip through it, and say, do I like it? Do I want to buy it? Then I'll buy it, as opposed to committing to buying the series regularly. I'll contrast that to Absolute Batman in a second when I get to it, but that's where I'm at with Absolute Superman. I just literally emailed my comic book store and said, hey, can you take Absolute Superman off my list? And I feel kind of bad about it. It's like so much work goes into this, whether I like it or not, so much work goes into this. I don't know. There's no Superman all the way. This is all Brainiac right now. This might as well be an absolute Brainiac book. And yeah, this is like the coloring is a little heavy-handed in Absolute Superman. Has been this whole time. It's a little heavy-handed, and I feel like even more so. It's just like really overdone. Yeah, I don't know. It's like none of these shots make me like, oh my gosh, Brainiac, look at that guy. He's crazy cool. All of them are just like a cadaver just being propped around here and there. Nothing makes me want to plunk down $5 for a book to see like a drawings of a cadaver. Yeah, I don't know. There was nothing exciting about this, which is weird because there's a lot of work on it going into it. The artwork, they put a lot of time into the artwork, the coloring. This is almost identical to the pose that we just saw him at the beginning of the book. Right? It's like they got this like model of legs, cyber legs that they want to do for Brainiac. Okay? Sci-fi legs. Okay, I get it. Kind of based off of these. I've seen these like legs like this before on like handicap athletes or whatever. Like cool. Okay, cool reference. But just, I mean, he's just standing there. You just change the top of his body. I don't know. There's a lot of colors going, like every single color in the rainbow is on it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Absolute Wonder Woman is another one where they had a secondary artist come in, a fill-in artist, and I didn't pick up those books. I was like, that's all right. Oh, the finicky tastes of a comic book collector. Yeah. Just not feeling it. I'll read the story. If I want to understand what happens and I want to keep going, maybe I'll pick up the next issue, but it's dropped off my list so far. So, Absolute Superman, sorry, Charlie. Try and win me back next time. Okay, let's see. Where are we at? I'm I fell behind here. What's up, Katie? All right, good to see you, Katie. How are you doing?
Say cup of tea.
Cup of tea.
No, a cup of tea.
Katie, I saw you and Cranberry Langers were doing a draw stream together. That was pretty awesome. You guys got to do that more. That was fun. I hope that was fun for you. I didn't get to join that live stream live. I just saw the recording afterwards, but I thought it was such a great fun time for you guys to do that. You're starting this like rumor that this show is intimidating. Mo Biggs, come on. Everybody's saying hello to Katie. Comrade Sammy's been here the whole time. You just can't prove otherwise. I believe you. I actually defended you, Comrade Sammy. I knew you'd come in here. So welcome, Chat Ninja. Have a few minutes. Busy day for the Chat Ninja. That's okay. We'll take any minutes you can give us. Women always go to the restroom together. Same with Rock. They come in pairs. Oh my gosh. Katie's asking everybody how you doing. Good to see Katie. Always fun to see our cup of tea friend from the UK. Now we just need to get Emo in here. Yep, she's gonna come in here swinging. What I appreciate about Absolute Batman is that it keeps that abomination of a Batman logo quarantined away from other Batman books. So Mo Biggs does not like the thick logo. That's fine. That's fine. We can accept that. Rocky, get to my chats already. I did. I'm doing good, Mark. I'm here if you need to talk. Okay, you have to leave soon. If you can only be here a few minutes and you wanted Rocky to read your chats in that time, it seems like... Truth. That is truth. Comrade Sammy, you know better. You know better. You can't drop a, hey, read my chats and not give me like a 20-minute runway. Come on, you know better. You know you should always arrive at... There we go. Exactly, 20 minutes. Mr. Monkey Boy says he made me mad. No, you didn't. More than 20 minutes, Mr. Monkey Boy says. Fatback Man, that's right. That's right. It looks like they tried to chisel the logo out of a brick, but were too lazy to finish. Absolute Brainiac is what Rocky's 4th grade teacher left in the comment section of his report card. No, they did not. Laziness seems to be going the world over. Hopefully the golden age puts an end to it and horrible customer service. I just saw a video the other day of the new Tesla robot, the Optimus robot, like dancing, and it was moving like really fast. Elon Musk just posted it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're doomed. We're gonna have dancing robots, and they're gonna have some good moves too. That should calm them down for now. Star Wars droid Brainiac, yes, yeah. Thanks to AI, customer service seems to be turning into a text adventure game. What exact wording did they intend me to use to get the required result? She can't do it. It's impossible. It's impossible. That's part of the chat. That's part of the life of my channel. That's what you're buying into when you come here. It's like long yap time. All right, here we go. This is the second book. Moon is Following Us. Now, this book is one that has kept me in the whole time. We're on issue 9, and I believe, I want to say this is a 10-issue book, if not 12. I think it's 10. And this has kept me in 100% the whole time. Why? Daniel Warren Johnson is a great writer. I wouldn't say he's like, he just started writing a few years ago, right? We know Daniel Warren Johnson from his incredible artwork. And then he started telling stories himself, or was given the opportunity to be both the writer and the artist on stories. And people were like, wow, this guy can write. And I think him writing for himself is extremely powerful, because he knows what he's good at. He plays to his strengths. That's not always the case when you find artists that write for themselves. And speaking of like the image guys, like some of those guys tried to write for themselves, and they're, it didn't work out, or they were better artists, for sure better artists than they were writers. But Daniel Warren Johnson, I find, knows his strengths and the stories that he crafts, whether that's a Wonder Woman story or a Wolverine story or something original like The Moon is Following Us. He really crafts them to play up those strengths. So his strengths being, he is one of those artists and writers who can ride the line of the ridiculousness of a comic book and what you can do in a comic book with the heartfelt seriousness of a strong story, like deep emotion in a story, and he does that in The Moon is Following Us. He also does action. He knows how to stage and write for action really well, and he also knows how to create relatable characters and just like totally like pull on those like heartstrings when he writes too. And then he always loves adding in like rock and roll and like absurdity, like wrestling moves. And he does that in this book. He does that in Transformers. He does that in all his books. So yeah, I love the pairing of it. And in this book, in The Moon is Following Us, he's working with an artist named Riley Rossmo. They do double duty on artwork. So Daniel Warren Johnson draws some pages that take place in the real world. Riley Rossmo draws the pages that take place in the alternate reality. And it's a cool like interplay between the two guys. They have very different styles, but they also work really well together. And you can tell they're just invested in it. So I've enjoyed this. They've just stayed consistent on this book. Every issue ends with pretty much a cliffhanger. So you're like, wait, what? Like always kind of this twist that comes out of it. And at the core of the story is a parent and child relationship. And what would you do? How far would you go to save your child who's dying? So that's a super compelling story. That's a relatable story, a very human story. And then they just throw it in this like crazy fantasy world with all these different characters. But yeah, it's been awesome. And then, not to take away from it, but Mike Spicer's colors, who is one of the regular colorists on most all of Daniel Warren Johnson's work, is coloring this book too, and he's fantastic. So yeah, I love this book. I'm in all the way to the end for this one. It's just been great, a really fun ride, and just it leaves you, every issue leaves you with like, what is going to happen? And that's the key. I think that's ultimately the key with keeping people engaged and keeping people willing to put down money on a monthly basis or however often your book comes out. Is like you want them to stop at the end of the book, go, what is going to happen next? Like, oh my gosh, I need to find out what's going to happen to these characters, and to be entertained the whole way through. Like at the end of that Absolute Superman, it's like, do I really even not reading it, but like, do I really care what happens at the end of? Not really. It's like, oh, all right, you just kind of showed me a weird Brainiac. Cool. And that, to be fair, that's not how Absolute Superman has been all the way through, or I wouldn't even have lasted this long. There have been issues of it that I'm like, oh, okay, cool, what's going to happen next? But this one in particular just fell really flat for me. It was like the combo of the new artist and no Superman in it, and the artwork was like, meh. Yeah. Here we go. Here's a nice wrestling move that TWJ's throwing in there. And yeah, they have so many different characters, but all very interesting and all exciting. And the artwork just is awesome in this book. It's great. Hopefully I'm not spoiling this for a lot of you guys. And then they did release, I believe, the first, if it's a 10-issue series, I think the first 5 they compiled in a volume, and then they'll do the second 5 in another one. I'm kind of glad that I decided to buy individual issues, because this is the kind of book that I like reading as individual issues, even though it's a limited, it's going to have an end. It's not going to be an ongoing series. And that's also a factor in, this is awesome. This crazy like shark on a stick is an amazing, amazing thing. I think maybe also knowing that the series ends at 10, that's a factor, right? So if you're creating a story that you advertise as, it's going to be a 10-issue limited series, and people get to issue 7, 6, 7, and they're like mediocre to positive about it, they'll probably stay on till the end of it. But for me, again, comparing this to Absolute Superman, knowing that that's an ongoing series and this is kind of the direction you're going, I'm like, I'm not gonna stick on it. If you told me like there's only 2 more issues in Absolute Superman, maybe I'll stay with it. It's cool colors here. Oh, snap. I think I just spoiled something for myself. Oh, snap. Whoops. That ain't good. That ain't good. That's really sad. Ugh. Come on, Daniel Warren Johnson. That's really sad. I won't even talk about it because, yeah, Volume 1 trades paperback. What does it say? They don't say what is. I believe it's issues 1 through 5. Ugh. You just saw that in real time. Spoiling something for myself. Okay, let's see. Oh, wait. Wow, the chat has really jumped here. Timmy Mello. What's up, Timmy Mello? I haven't seen you in a while.
And the Guardians
I mean, I haven't seen you at least on chat. And let me say, Timmy Mello, I am sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry for the NBA, for Timmy Mello. Just leave it at that. Really sad for my man and his team. We're about to have a game today that I am not confident at all for my team. So, which is the Golden State Warriors. Not confident in it at all. But I'm sad how your team went out, Timmy Mello. I thought they were going to go way farther than they did. Really sorry for you. John says he's not crazy about this moon cover. It's not the strongest that I've seen in this series. He's had some great ones. But I mean, this is kind of tragic. You see that unicorn totally and the shark on the stick, but that unicorn totally dead. That's the thing with Daniel Warren Johnson too. He doesn't pull any punches. Like he's swinging for the fences every time that he writes stories. So you got to be ready for that gut punch. And I just got gut punched just flipping through that. Mark's Music Session says, okay, a neighbor showed up. Oh gosh. Hopefully you are not showing this on your TV to your neighbor. He only used the moon because it's public domain. The moon belongs to everyone. The best things in life are free. I have moon rocks for sale, Mr. Monkey Boy says. And hey, Comrade Sammy as well as Rocky Ballesteros. What's up, Timmy Mello? I paint them during a full moon. Okay, all these moon jokes. Moon jokes. Lindsay Rose is here. Good seeing you again, Lindsay Rose. How are you? I assumed you were giving them the silent treatment in solidarity with Rocky. Now Sammy can leave if she wants to. Katie won't be alone. That's right. Got to stick together. Girls got to stick together, I guess. Is that the new rule for the chat? Why is Mo Biggs in my safe space? There's debates about why that is going on in our government right now, Katie. So it's going to get ironed out. We promise. 911 is notoriously slow to respond. I don't imagine 999 is much better, Katie. Where's that Shant guy, Rocky? For shame. Where's Shant? He's hopefully sleeping. I don't know. People would die if I was fielding 911 calls, I think is what would happen, John. People would die. Shark on a stick sounds like a delicacy. It might be. And it's a deadly weapon in this series. 20 minutes just to answer the phone, then you have to endure an hour of blink. Not as good as Jose Jalapeno on a stick. Oh my gosh. Lindsay Rose saying hello. 24 hours of pain. It stings. I know it stings, man. I'm bracing myself for my team. I'm bracing myself. It's gonna be bad. I had to dip out for a second. Did Rocky get to my? I did. See, you can't. Our timing's off right now, Comrade Sammy. We got to work on that. We're talking the sports ball. To wash down the Cavs' misery this morning, the guards had a kids' education day. There's about 16,000 screaming kids to deal with through the game. Oh boy. I don't know which one's worse. Like 20,000 crying fans or like 16,000 screaming kids at a baseball game. I don't know. Got to take some aspirin, Timmy Mello. I'm well and not thinking about that. My wrecked washer. Oh no. Oh no. Our washing machine is right next door to my office. And my washing machine is right next door to my office, and I always fear like it's gonna break and like spill into my office and ruin all my books. It might happen. Kind of scary. Okay, we'll go on the Daniel Warren Johnson kick. I picked this up today. Transformers number 20. Transformers. So maybe I'm contradicting myself a little bit here. But we'll get into it. Maybe you guys help me process through. Transformers, I've collected since issue 1 on this. So this is 20 issues. For the longest time, I have never bought 20 consecutive issues of any book since I was a kid. So this is a long run for me to keep up with this book. Much longer than that Absolute Superman. And as I'm thinking about it out loud, it has to do with every time they changed an artist on this, either they had a fill-in artist or a switch to a different artist, because this started off as a Daniel Warren Johnson written and drawn book, and it was amazing. And then this guy, Jorge Corona, took over after Daniel Warren Johnson, and I was like, can he pull it off? He's amazing. Really good. They had a couple fill-in artists. They were okay, but, you know, they were good. They were good enough that I was like, okay, keep in it. But this is also a book that I have decided to pull off my list. Now, thinking this through, it's like the artwork is awesome. I think, okay, this is my thinking. Who knows if you guys even care? This is just me processing through my feelings. The part of the reason that I took this off my list is, one, I know that this is a hot selling book at most comic book stores. It's one of their top selling books. And Energon Universe, what they're doing in that universe is great, is doing great. So it's one of the hottest selling books. I know that they'll never run out of this book. So if ever I go to a weekly store and flip through the Transformers, go, oh, cool, I want to keep buying that. I know it's not like they're going to run out of copies. That's one of the reasons why I do sign up for a subscription on a series, is I worry of like, oh, they might run out of that because it's so hot. It's so, so popular. So that's one of the reasons. So I think I gave myself a little bit of an out of knowing that I could pick this up, and I probably will continue to pick this up. You'll find out when issue 21 comes out, if I do. So I guess I just took the pressure of like, I have to commit to this book every month. The other reason is the story is, it's not a hot, there's been a few issues in this one where I haven't like tracked where they're really going, like the full purpose of where they're going in this story. What kept me in so far and for this long is the reveals of like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till they introduce this character from my past of Transformers. Oh, I can't wait to see what Optimus does in this situation. And so they've kind of run the gamut of most of the characters already in this. And I've seen them revealed, and I kind of get that nostalgia hit. But like, where are we going from here at this point? And I think in a bigger question of where Energon Universe is going as far as G.I. Joe, as far as Transformers, that's the big question mark for me, because we're already past the hump of nostalgia and cool. You guys are handling the characters great. That's awesome. But now where are you taking us? So I haven't locked into that yet. And so that's another reason where I'm just like, okay, every issue of Transformers at the end of it didn't, and ironically, this is Daniel Warren Johnson writing it, but every issue at the end of it didn't make me go, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. So yeah, I think those are all the reasons why I decided to pull this off my list. That doesn't mean I'm not going to buy it. It's just that I'm not committing to it as a regular book. But the artwork is still great. Like, they really know. They've developed this very cool style for Transformers, for this this run of Transformers. A super cool style that all started with Daniel Warren Johnson. It's like it's not stiff at all. It's super dynamic, and we're talking about geometric robotic shapes. They make them really exciting, and it's a hard thing to do, and they've just kept that bar for the artwork really high to keep it up on a monthly book. I mean, that is no small task. That's so cool. Like, that's the coolest Starscream. I do love this jacked up Megatron. He's pretty awesome with the laser beak like serving as his eyes. It's all plugged. It's like wild. It's like cyberpunk Megatron. I don't know. I'm probably gonna pick up the next. I'm probably gonna pick up the next issue. But going back to my first point, they're never gonna sell out of this book unless unless there's some crazy popularity spike. They're never gonna sell out of it. So I'll always be able to handle it. I mean, that's awesome. That's an awesome Megatron right there. So yeah, let's see. I mean, Ghost G.I. Joe is probably another one that I don't know if how far I'm gonna keep going with it. I mean, it's been great. It's been awesome. So yeah, with a lot of my books, I'm hitting this decision point of like, am I gonna keep up monthly pickup of this or what? That's awesome. So cool. That's cool. It's really cool. I mean, it's a cool book. I think it's just my own psychology of like, okay, you don't have to buy it if you don't want to, Rocky. Or maybe it gets to that point where I just start picking up the collected volumes. I don't have to collect them as individual issues. Maybe that's it. Because that's another option. They obviously make more money if you commit to the individual issues, but yeah. Let's see. Okay. Mo Big says, I wasn't going to say anything about the washer. Didn't want to dredge up any drama. Thank you. Yeah, for those of you who know a little bit of my history, I've dealt with some floods in my lifetime and water damage to any kind of anything in my life, but specifically like books or like precious. Yeah. It's very traumatic. That would not be good. Yes. A bit of discretion would not be remiss. We're part of Rocky's therapy. You guys are. That's what this is all about, actually. It's just comics therapy. Maybe that should be the new title, Comics Therapy. Rocky has to be committed. Is there a second? Committed, like, yep, that's it. That's exactly the definition of committed for me. Yep. Rocky can be committed to his comics. Should Starscream have been the next Pope? Would that have worked? I mean, they got a guy from Chicago. That's kind of like, which Starscream kind of, does that fit in that mold? That would be amazing. All right, let's see. Emo's comrade's telling John to bug Emo. Go for it. Already DM'd her the link. There we go. Maybe if you hint that Noah's in the chat. Oh, well. Many are not adjusting to the weather, really. I heard that. Shant even was having some issue with, I think he was saying the pressure got maybe to his sinuses or whatever. I didn't mean to bring up bad memory. No problem, Lindsay Rose. No problem. We're going to just say that 3 times is enough in my lifetime that I deal with floods, because that's literally how many times I dealt with floods. And we're going to say that I'm done. Like I've hit my limit. God's going to say no more floods for Rocky. That's the hope. Okay, let's see. What should I do? Yeah, let's stick with the I'm going to stick with the so here's a series another regular series of that I'm hanging on to, that I am keeping up with regularly. 14 issues in, I've picked up every issue of Geiger. So the Ghost Machine guys are a great example of a company, comic company today that is killing it. And they have come up with an amazing formula of a regular series, how to produce regular series that just keep your numbers up, keep people engaged. A lot of that has to do with Jeff Johns, one of the primary writers on the Ghost Machine books. Let me just make sure that that is in focus. Yeah. He's a great writer, and he's writing such diverse stories. Diverse meaning just different stories. And they're just a high bar. Like they're high concept, high bar. So he's writing Geiger, he's writing Redcoat, which is like American history, history meets cult, like magic wizardry. Geiger, which is a post-apocalyptic superhero, like trying to control himself and avenge his family. And then, Redcoat, Geiger, and then Rook Exodus, which is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi future, like team book with animals. All of those are like phenomenal stories. And he's also writing Hyde Street, which is a horror book. So his writing's incredible, and I'm just blown away how he's able to maintain that over such different kind of stories. And then the art teams that they have in place, the regular art teams for Geiger, for Redcoat, for Rook Exodus, for Hyde Street are all like some of the best in the business right now. So yeah, that formula, to have that kind of formula in place and then come out regularly, like be faithful with producing a regular book, are all formulas for success. So Geiger in particular, written by Jeff Johns, Gary Frank is the artist, and Brad Anderson is the colorist on this. And it's been awesome. It's been a really cool, fun journey. Sometimes I feel like each issue is too short. Like I could just keep reading over and over, where it's just a cool world to be lost in. And I mean, look at this double pager. That's awesome. The latest story with Geiger is he ran into, or he's met somebody who has similar powers to him. It's a girl, and she's able to control it way better than he does. This like radioactive power. So he's trying to learn from her, but she has a darker, or kind of a past that is slowly being revealed, that it's not all great. Like she kind of has an ulterior motive. So it's really cool. And you're like wondering like, okay, what's going to happen? Like at first she's an ally, but now what? She's an enemy, and she's like hiding facts from him. And then Geiger's design is amazing. Every time he goes radioactive, it's like, what the heck is going to happen? Colors are great on this. So yeah, and Gary Frank's just an all-around awesome artist, great storyteller. They're introducing Junkyard Joe, which is another one of their characters. They did a mini series with him several years ago. They just have this huge plan for the Ghost Machine timeline, and they're starting to cross these timelines. So it's awesome. It's just well thought out, well planned. Just good books, good formula for good books. The thing that's so genius about Geiger kind of reminds me a little bit of the design of Hellboy. I mean, they look totally different, but the design of Hellboy, like he's just red. And whenever you look at any Mike Mignola page or any of his stories, you can just flip through it and you know exactly where Hellboy is. Like, what is he doing? Where is he in the frame? And I feel like Geiger is like that as well in these stories. Like this green, this radioactive green is just like amazing. It's this amazing design thing. Geiger is heading for a meltdown. It's awesome. Yeah, they're kind of moving towards like a big explosion, both literally and metaphorically. Yeah, so I'm still all in Geiger. They have not dropped the ball on this series. Yep, Jeff Johns is the writer on Hyde Street as well. It's a great book. Yeah, these two. I didn't pick up Hornsby and Halo. That creative team didn't totally click with me, and the concept actually didn't really click with me either. But I've been recommending Geiger. I'm sorry, recommending Ghost Machine since day one, and here we are 14, 15 issues in, and it's maintained. Oh, this is a 5-issue miniseries Sisterhood. All right. Here we go. Geiger, issue 14. All right, let's see. The painful memories came flooding back for Rocky. It's a vicious spin cycle. Mo Biggs gets the first bump. The other floods that I dealt with had nothing to do with our washing machine. But it's kind of like, have you seen that movie that's being advertised now, the Final Destination movies, or the newest Final Destination movie? It's kind of like that, having the washer dryer right next to my office with all my books made out of paper. It's kind of like that. It's like you see it and you're like, is that a good idea? But I haven't had a flooding washer situation. Knock on wood, Floods, comics, and artists are not a great mix. It's not. It's really not. Timmy Mel has been sneezing like crazy. Oh, goodness. It is those allergies. It is that allergy time. No more floods, Lindsay Rose. I agree. Dr. Phosphorus. Yes, Dr. Phosphorus. Emo is going to be miffed to have Miss Geiger. Is she? Yeah, she prefers a Redcoat. Emo's the big history buff. Maybe both, yeah. But she definitely likes Redcoat. And I'm assuming Redcoat will probably come out, I think, next week. We're due for a new Redcoat pretty soon. Radioactive, yes. Was that a Kiss song? I know the Imagine Dragons song. I don't know, Kiss song. Thanks for reminding me that I don't know what KISS stands for the band. What does KISS stand for? Quick Google search. I'm sure we could find out. I can just hear the Radioactive by Imagine Dragons song blasting my head as this comic is being reviewed. Just make sure the majority of the papers are on the other side of the room. I don't have enough space in my office to be able to do that. And I try not to put things too close to the floor, but yeah. Gosh, you guys, don't jinx me. Don't jinx me with this. That could be bad. Okay, how are we doing on time? We'll take a little sidetrack, a little break here. I pulled this out of the dollar box. I knew nothing about this series. I just saw it and I was like, wow, that's an interesting cover. Written by Robert Kirkman, who is the Walking Dead, Skybound, Invincible dude, right? So he's huge. He's huge. He started his own company, Skybound. They're the ones that are doing the Energon universe, Transformers, blah, blah, blah. So he's the grand poobah of Skybound, due to his popularity and what he's done for when he wrote The Walking Dead and all these other series. And we'll talk about him a little bit in a second too, because there's another book I have that he just released. But I saw this and I was like, what is this? And to see Mark Silvestri's name on it got my eyes perked. And then looky here, Brian Stelfreeze. I don't know if you guys are very familiar with Brian Stelfreeze's work. He's a lesser known artist in a sense that I don't think he ever hit mainstream popularity, Brian Stelfreeze, just because he's never been on a regular ongoing book. But within comic circles and people who are faithful comic collectors, people know Brian Stelfreeze. He's an incredible artist, fantastic storyteller. He's done his own creations. I mean, I should focus on him maybe in a future stream, just his work. He started a studio in Atlanta called Geiger Studios. And he also happens to be one of our friend, Shanthan Jetty, one of his mentors. Like Shanth did an internship at Geiger Studios way back when we were in college and worked with Brian Stelfreeze. And Brian Stelfreeze taught him a lot. So he's an he's like an artist. And I love his sequential work. So when I saw his name there, I was like, okay, I got to check this out. But what is this? I'd never heard of it. I had to Google what hardcore was. And apparently, I think this is when Robert Kirkman had already made his mark as this amazing writer. And I guess there was they called it like a pilot season. He was doing basically a bunch of one-shot stories through Image of just different stories he was trying out. And this was one of them, hardcore. And depending on the popularity of it, they might have, the idea was probably to spin them off into like ongoing series. But I don't think any of them got spun off. So there's only one issue of this book called Hardcore. And the only involvement of Mark Silvestrian is he just did this cover, which is kind of cool. It's like a cool cover. But he didn't do anything inside. But Brian Stelfreeze drew the artwork inside. And another reason why I think it might be worth... Is this in focus? I always want to double check the focus. Another reason why I think... That looks more in focus. It would be worth it to focus on Stelfreeze's work. One of these streams that I do is he's got such a unique graphic style. Like it's a lot more harder edged, but there's a lot of reference that goes into it as far as like anatomy and like tech and environments, but it has such a stylized graphic look to it. And that was pretty descriptive or definitive of Geiger Studios and the work that came out of their studio. So the other artists that were in Geiger Studios were Brian Stelfreeze, Adam Hughes, Jason Pearson, one of my all-time faves. Carl Story was an incredible inker. Joe Phillips, Dave Johnson, who we've looked at. Super Patriot was one of the books I looked at a few weeks ago. He had some time through Geiger Studios. There was another guy named Tony Harris. He did a series called Starman. They all had this like very graphic storytelling side to them. Graphic meaning a lot more contrast and hard edges and a lot more play with like shadows and visual elements to like lead your eye around the page. They were less, not like, versus like an artist like Todd McFarlane or Mark Silvestri. They had a lot of hatching and a lot of line work. Their stuff was a lot more clean. But they could tell stories, man. And Brian Stelfreeze in particular was so good about choreographing action. Like I feel like his brain worked like a choreographer for like a film, because he knew like the placement of all the people in a scene, and he could kind of manipulate and like move the action around the environment, and everything would be like perfectly placed. So he's great. I don't know who this colorist is. Sunny Go of IFS. Never heard of him. It's in a weird coloring style. But yeah, so I didn't know anything about this story, but the fact that Brian Stelfreeze was drawing it made me buy it in a heartbeat. Like, this is what I mean with the graphic storytelling, like these silhouettes, how your eye is being led, like it's all intentional. I even have a book where it's about storytelling, and Brian Stelfreeze is one of the people that was interviewed in it, and he's really conscious and very intentional about staging the page and how your eye moves around the page. Like, for example, here you could see these black shapes are leading you down here. These guys angled up in this direction to make your eye go up here. This black here and the guy's suit crosses you over here. The gun drops over here. You're looking at the silhouette here. Like, all that stuff is all plotted out. It's amazing. It just makes his stuff flow really nicely. All right, let's see. KISS means keep it simple, silly. Well, we knew that. I don't think that's what the rock and roll band was named KISS for it. I'm afraid to Google it. Yeah, we can go with that, John. Rocky is the Peter Criss of Comic Book Kiss. Knights in Chance. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Knights in... I think that's what it does stand for. I'm the Peter Criss of the comic book. Okay. Waking Up Ash and Dust. Is that the name of a song? Waking Up Ash and Dust. That's a cool 3D cover, Lindsay Rose says. Yeah, I don't think it's 3D. I mean, so what I get from this image is it's like some sort of virtual reality, right, is happening here. The colors are so crazy different. And I think it's the same person who's coloring the insides. Yeah, Sunny Go of IFS. Never heard of this artist. I googled Super Show and Google tried to correct me. Did you mean hardcore? Just had comic at the end, John. There's a lot of that modern sci-fi comic feel here. Yep. Stelfreeze tends to do... I mean, he had a huge run on like Batman. He was doing painted cover. He's a great painter. Painted covers on Batman. But I would say... Wow. I would say that he loves like gun action kind of stuff. More realistic action stuff that's like gunplay. And he does great guns. And like... staging, like gunfighting. He's less about the like superpowery kind of superheroes. He did a mini series he was working on for himself called Maximum Velocity, and that was kind of cool. That was like a cyberpunk futuristic, and the dude was on this cool motorcycle. He had this awesome jacket that was super graphic. Yeah, I'll have to pull out some of my Stelfreeze stuff for a future stream. He's for sure. Oh, why am I writing it on a notepad? I could have used my digital notes. Oh well, I got it on my notepad. He for sure is an artist to kind of look at and dissect his work. I've got a lot of material from his stuff, so it's cool. Yeah, hardcore. Kind of cool. Dollar box find. Too much K value for Bancroft's taste. K value. What's that? K value. He's got his trusty binoculars out so he can see those black shapes coming. Just the way it pops off the page. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Really does. They got this cool like virtual TV effect on this image. Rocky embracing his inner Shant and shunning the digital notepad. I totally forgot I had it. Okay, let's see. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. We're at pace. Alrighty, Roo. This one came out today. Absolute Batman number 8. Scott Snyder writer. This is the second of a 2-issue mini arc in the normal run of Absolute Batman. Nick Dragotta is the regular artist on Absolute Batman. I've loved what he's done for this series, but they had Marcos Martin step in and do a 2-issue run, filler run, that introduced Mr. Freeze, which is this creepy ice, I don't know, not ice monster, but just this creepy, like totally different take on Mr. Freeze. And, you know, they're just shaking it up with all the things they're doing in this Absolute Batman series. They're just turning it all on its head. Like giving Batman a super thick axe that's in the shape of the Batman logo that Mo Biggs does not like. This is an example. Marcos Martin is an example of an artist who comes in and like puts his mark on something. Like I mean, whether it was the editor that asked him to do this 2 issues run or him personally, but I feel like he just went in. He's like, I'm not going to try and do the Nick Dragotta thing. I'm going to do my own thing, my Marcos Martin thing, and I'm just going to hit it hard. And that's what I feel like he's done for this, for these 2 issues. And it's different. It's cool. It's very much Marcos Martin's style. And I like it. I like it a lot. I know some people don't like his art style, but I really like it. He does some creepy things. It reminds me a lot. He lives in that same world as Javier Rodriguez, who is the artist on Absolute Martian Manhunter. I think those guys kind of have very similar styles, but it's non-conventional. It's awesome. Ice Nosferatu. I like that. Yeah, it is kind of feel like that. Big Back Man, here he is. This comic is gonna shred. Yes, it came out today. Oh, the K. You're talking about the K, CMYK values. Too much K value for Bancroft. Really? Is that what he talks about? I love the use of black, especially as a design element in comic art. I think it's really powerful. I think that comic art should stand on its own without the colors. You know, you should really be able to see what's going on without the colors and have a clear read of where you should be reading. So I'm all for silhouettes, use of black. This is a crazy splash page here. I don't know. I want to guess. I like to give him the benefit of the doubt that Marcos Martin works traditionally. I don't know that for a fact. I know Nick Dragotta does, the regular artist in Absolute Batman, and that I admire him even more for working traditionally. I don't know if Marcos Martin does, but he does this cool brush technique on these elements here. Some really interesting panel layouts. It's great. I don't know what's going on. I guess they're freezing up Bruce Wayne. Look at that. That's cool. That's cool coloring right there. Knock, knock. Wow, just flamed him in the face. I'm surprised that he made that little flamethrower so tiny for an Absolute Batman. I would think it would be like the size of a fire hydrant on his arm. That's cool. I like the blue veins. Ice. He's got literal ice in his veins, guys. Yeah, that's awesome. It's so striking. Really striking art style. Colors. Who is doing colors on this? Months of his. Okay. This colorist, I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, has worked with Marcos Martin before. They worked together a lot on other stuff. They just finished this kind of young adult horror detective series called Friday, which is awesome. And there's some great coloring in that. That's cool. That's great. Wow, look at these colors. I can see people loving or hating this. I really love it, though. I think it's different. And then that's it. The next issue, Nick Dragotta's coming back, and they're going to introduce Bane, which they've been hyping that up. And I think Bane's even bigger. He's going to be even thicker than Batman. I saw this one promo image for it, and it almost looked like a shot from like Akira with all the like mutated flesh growth of Bane. I don't know if I saw it in this book or not. It might be another. I think it was another book I saw it in, but it looked awesome. I saw this on the rack. Not for me. Supergirl. Not for me at all. I don't think I'm the intended audience for Supergirl. There we go. Absolute Batman. Number 8. This comic's going to shred. Oh, yeah, we talked about it. The axe is used for hacking. The logo is designed by a hack. Have you had this conversation with the Art and Times of Jay Ryan? He also hates the logo. I would almost pick that up. I gotta head out, everybody. See you later, Bo Biggs. Thank you so much for being in the chat. Hail Rocky, hail the chat. Thank you so much. Always fun having you here. See you next time. Absolute Brainiac would give early new 52 Joker a run for his money. Bancroft is of the opinion too much K value causes for a muddled look in the colors. He often reduces his K values, which leads to much antics of his bias. Look at you, John. Learning so much from these streams from Bancroft, learning about color value. That's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I love me some rich, deep use of blacks in comic art. Sorry, I was just looking closely to see if I could tell if this was done traditionally. Maybe he does it digitally. The true tell sign of whether or not an artist works traditionally or digitally is more than likely they'll sell original pages. And I know Nick Dragotta, the irregular artist on this, oftentimes sells his pages. They go up for sale and they sell really fast. So, and then they also released that Absolute Batman #1 Noir edition, which was scans of his original art. So that's how I know he works traditionally, but who knows these days? There's some digital brushes out there. You can't even tell. The Batman Who Knocks. That's right. Fun colors. Bane. Yes, Bane's coming, Lindsay Rose. Get ready. Octopus dress. That's inventive. If that logo were any thicker and rounder, we'd pass it around like on the gridiron. It would be an oval if it was any rounder. Okay. This is an interesting book. There's a lot of hype around this book. Came out this week and I was looking for it. They actually had like not at the store I went to, but I'm sure at other stores, they had like a blind bag. I don't know what they called it. Maybe it was blind bag version. It was like all red and you don't know which cover you were getting for this. They had a bunch of different covers. I didn't see it at the store I went to today. And I'm not the hugest Battle Beast fan to go hunt it down. So yeah, I just picked up the regular cover here. But this is written by Robert Kirkman, same guy who wrote that book Hardcore, same guy who does Energon Universe, Walking Dead, and created the company Skybound. Great writer. And so this is a character, from my understanding, and now I'm not the expert on the world of Invincible, but this is a character that was in the Invincible story. He's one of the alien characters there. Drawn by Ryan Ottley, who's a great artist. Isn't it Ryan Ottley that did? Let me look it up. I think Ryan Ottley drew a book called... Pretty sure it's Ryan Ottley. Oh no. I know I know he was the main artist on Invincible. And then oh yeah, he did some Hulk books. Didn't he do Sentinels? I was picking up that book. No, maybe he didn't. Who drew Sentinel? Reminds me of Ryan Ottley's work. Justin Mason. That's right. Justin Mason drew the book Spider-Punk, which I picked up, like 1 issue or 2 issues of that. And then he drew this book Sentinels, which I picked up 2 issues of that. Justin Mason, yeah, it kind of reminds me of Justin Mason artwork. But then who drew? Oh yeah, then there was. Sorry, I'm getting all my artists mixed up. There's another artist named James Herron who does a book called Ultra Mega. Kind of reminds me of Ryan Ottley's work, but I think Ryan Ottley is most known for being the main artist on Invincible. Great artist, does really cool action stuff, and this is right up his alley. Look at all these variant covers. So many artists on these variant covers. Oh, maybe Corey Walker. I'm getting all these artists confused. I know Ryan Ottley's done a lot of Invincible work, but maybe Corey Walker was the main artist on Invincible. Anyway, this is Battle Beast. And I think he's just this ultra-violent alien character. If you didn't get that from this image. From space. Wow, that's a lot of dialogue there. It's cool, though. Really cool. Like, tough. Who's the artist on X-Men? I'm getting that confused, too. There's a lot of artists that live in this kind of world. That's cool. That's a cool alien design. Creepy. That's awesome. This is cool. Really cool, like, action-y. I don't know if this is going to be an ongoing series or a limited series. I don't know if I really need to know what his character does in Invincible to really get into it. I believe that this is kind of a prequel of his character, maybe. It's great. It's a tough thing to get dynamic and interesting expressions from an alien anatomy. So like dealing with 4 eyes. But they're going ultra violent. And I think that's Battle Beast's shtick. She's just super violent. The coloring's pretty top notch on this. Annalisa Leone. Yeah, the coloring just makes it feel super cinematic. Sorry, I'm just reading here the back history here. Invisible Universe grew a lot in different ways that may not have been expected over the course of its 144 issues. Wow. In our first 6 issues alone, You're going to see Battle Beast more from sci-fi to sci-fi horror to sci-fi fantasy. Battle Beast has been at the center of some of the most epic and memorable fights in the Invincible series, so the goal with this book is definitely to top what has come before. Okay, so I guess okay. The colorist, she colored on Oblivion Song, which is another Robert Kirkman series, and the Cobra Commander series. Oh, got it. So yeah, it seems like it's going to be some sort of ongoing thing. I think this is just a preview of Blood and Thunder. I flipped through this. I was like, yeah, it's all right. I wasn't that excited about this. I don't know what it's about. I think it's a girl and her gun. Yeah, so it seems like it's all out violent battles with Battle Beasts, which makes sense. It's named Battle Beast. I mean, if you're going to do it and create a character named Battle Beast. Cool. That's cool. That's a cool first issue. It's just balls to the wall, like what you would expect for this character. Sci-fi, violent action. Pretty epic. Now the main question is am I going to pick up individual issues or am I just going to wait for the first 6 to be compiled? There we go. Circling back to the conversation at the beginning of this stream. What keeps you buying a book over and over and over again as individual issues? We'll see. Do I like the character Battle Beast enough to buy individual issues? We'll see. We'll see. John says fun colors. Oh, maybe that was in the last book. Oh yeah, we got that. Invincible spinoff. That's right. I want to say Battle Beast is an inspired cross of Craven, Lobo, and Mongol. I can see Loboisms in there. Craven, is he a hunter? So yes, sure. I can see like Predator maybe kind of being in there too. I don't know who Mongol is. Who's Mongol, Timmy Mello? That ship is a Cyclops. Kind of. Is there another ship? Guess so. Sabretooth. Yep, Sabretooth. I feel that. What's up, Cranberry? How are you doing?
This is a cranberry, full of power.
Cranberry says, cool art. That head looks like Atrocitus. Oh, yeah. It's got some of that in there. From Red Lanterns. Yeah. That does give me a little bit of like Green Lantern-ish vibes. Maybe just because it's sci-fi aliens. But yeah, I can see that. I'm leaving in about 9 minutes. All right, cool. Thanks for coming in. Anyway, yeah, you were so busy, Cranberry. Busy. Battle Beast looks cool with the interior arts, colors. Busy bee. That's right. Since I wasn't here, story is what drives me buying. Yes. So the question, Lindsay Rose, is what is the order of what keeps you in? Is it story first, then art, then characters, or is it like story, characters, art, or art, story? For me, it's always, whoa, why am I so far out? What happened? Oh, this did this before. Hang on a second. You guys can see all my bills. What happened? Let me move to here. Figure out what is going on. Gosh. Mark's Music Obsession says art, then color, then story for me. Color, I love that color is part of that equation for you, Mark. Okay, we're back in business here, I think. Does that look right? Yes. But now I can't get this stupid window out. But now the... What is going on? Oh my gosh. Technical difficulties. No. Nope. Oh my goodness. I feel like Shoth. Give me 1 second. Oh man. Okay. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay. Yes. But can I adjust it? Okay. Jeez Louise. All right. My gosh. Apologies. That's what you get. Wait, now why is that so... Okay. My goodness. All right. Story. Okay. Mongol is Timu Thanos in DC. He's a Superman foe. Oh. Oh, wow. I don't even know who Mongol is. Check out Salome and the Guardian of the Forest, Cranberry says. Okay. Definitely looks like Atrocitus, isn't it? Art, then color, then story. That's what Mark's Museum said. Or is it Starch? Oh, gosh. Guilt by association with Shant causes tech issues, apparently. All right, I flee now. Ciao, everybody. Have a good stream, Rocky, and each person in chat. See you later, Cranberry. I would probably put story and characters together, then art, maybe. I also don't buy a lot. Yeah, and that's, that's individually... I think, the if you had all the money in the world, then you just buy whatever it is on a whim. But when that budget... When you have limited budget on what you can pay or what you're willing to spend on something, then it starts getting really particular of like, well, you got to hit on all cylinders for these categories for me to even consider buying your book. So I think that story, and the reason why I separate out story and characters is because sometimes you can have really great characters. Say, for example, for lack of an argument, like the X-Men, like they're, in my opinion, some amazing characters, or even just like Spider-Man or Batman. You can have an awesome character, but then if you put them in a horrible story, I might not necessarily pick up the book, right? So, but sometimes people will just pick up a Spider-Man book because they love Spider-Man so much, and it doesn't matter what the story is. So that's kind of why I separate those out. But yeah, I don't think it's as black and white as just one category. For me, it's not as black and white. It all has to work in conjunction for me to become a fan of the book and also put down money to pay for it. So yeah, it's this ongoing question. Am I gonna get that book this week? And is it worth it? Is the price point worth it? So here's a prime example. This is the last new book that I picked up today, called Exquisite Corpses. Didn't even know this book was coming out. Had no idea. I have no idea what this book is about at all. James Tynion is the writer on this, and I've read some James Tynion stuff. He is a lot of his work is geared towards horror stories. And so that's probably why I'm not so well read on his work, because I don't like, but I'm not that into horror stories that much. So it's not like I'm like, ooh, James Tynion, it's a great writer. It's like, oh, well, it's going to be like a horror themed book. The artist, Michael Walsh, never heard of him before. Jordi Belair, who's the colorist. I do like Jordi Belair's colors a lot. So there's that going for it. And then this is a totally new property. So when I looked at this, I was like, that's a cool cover, but what is this about? And I flipped through it to try and find out what it was about. So from my understanding, it's some sort of like game, kind of like setting up like a game competition with different characters. And I haven't read this yet. I literally just picked this up today. It's a lot thicker than a normal book, more pages than a normal book, and it's a higher price point, $5. But I was willing to give it a shot because it was a #1, so intro. Interesting concept, it looked like. And yeah, it was just different. The artwork is not necessarily my cup of tea, but it didn't look horrible like that Supergirl. It looked interesting enough that made me go, okay, there's something here, kind of like it. The colors, again, Jordi Belair, I am familiar with her work, and I do love her coloring on this. So it's cool. But one thing I noticed, like there's after a certain chapter ends, so there's some sort of weird intrigue going on here. Very curious. After a certain chapter ends, they do this thing where they highlight a character here, like this. Sorry, I'm going to move this like this. It's like way off. They highlight a character. So this character is named Recluse, and then this character is named Leopold Strong. Kind of cool what they do with the colors too, like it's like a title card. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. What's going on? And they do that throughout this book. Let's see if I find another page here. Rascal Randy. And this is the congregation. So it's like setting up players in some sort of game, like game story. Nurse Pete, Pretty Boy. Some sort of horror elements going on. Here's Gamer Kid and Calvin, his drone. Layla Blaze, Slater. So anyway, all this setup, right? So that was cool. I've never seen that done before necessarily. And there's another character here. Totally a Jack Nicholson reference. And then this guy who's on the cover is called Fox Mask Killer. Cool. I can get on board with that. So yeah, there's enough in here that's like, wow, this is different. This is interesting. Some sort of gold mask here. Lone gunman. Cool. I like the setup, whatever it is they're doing. And it's a lot. It's not just, like I said, it's a thick book. So they're taking the time to set these characters up. This artist, don't know his work, but there's some cool, that I can already tell, some cool storytelling things going on here. So, there's the horror, violent aspect added in there. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm in. I'll give it a read. Very intriguing. And then they did this in the end page. So there's some sort of game, life and death game going. I want to call it like Hunger Games or what was it? Squid Game. Kind of has that feel to it, like a violent life or death game situation. And then I noticed they did this at the end of the book, which might not look like a lot, but it totally sold me on, okay, I'll pick this up. And it's like a bracket, like for any sports game or game show or something. It's a bracket. So it looks like you kind of track which characters survive, and then there's going to be some sort of final confrontation there. Last killer standing. So I don't know if they're all murderers. It sounds like maybe they're all more murderers in some way or form, and it's going to all end up in a final battle between murders. Then you become what? The last killer, yeah, the most murderous of murderers. But it's cool. It's kind of a cool gimmick to lay out, like, this is what we're going to do in the story. This is what you're going to end up at the end. And it's crazy enough and intriguing enough that it made me pick it up. So, I mean, this is kind of bold making merch of it, but okay. And then there's some sort of collector's aspect that they're also, I guess they're literally making a game. So it was cool. It was kind of different, very eye-catching on the rack. And Tinian has enough of a track record that I'm pretty sure he can deliver on it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see where this goes. I'm really curious. If you told me, oh, it's a Tinian book, it's a horror book, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But all the other factors, this game side to it, the artwork on it, all made me plunk down. I forgot that comic universes have crossover stories and characters. Is that a katana? Yes, some sort of katana here. This feels like a Kick-Ass movie. Like literally Kick-Ass, or just an awesome movie? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's like ultra violent again, which is the way that these things go. Michael Bancroft, what's up?
That's not a knife. That's a knife.
Hail Michael Bancroft. Timmy Mello says, we were just talking about you, or John brought up your issue with K value, I guess, when you're coloring your comic books. So he has an impression that you have a very strong opinion about using blacks and how black those blacks can be. It's very interesting. You're teaching people, Bancroft. John is really informed about K values based on your streams. So well done. Killer Royale. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. It's tapping all into that like hyper violent action competition. Got some Bancroft's bangers for Art Share tonight, Michael. Think so? It's a comic book only theme night. Oh, wow. Awesome. I wish I can make it. Because I have a hard stop today. I have something I got to get to, a banquet I got to get to. So I got to prep some stuff for that. So that's why I do have a hard stop today. Timmy Mello says this might end up a movie, and yeah, it feels very movie-ish movie setup. So could be cool. So mostly Batman and Spider-Man. No kidding. For your Art Share? No kidding. Got to keep those K values to manageable level. That is true, John. Good representation of Bancroft. Okay, last thing we'll look at, because we have a little bit of time, and I just got this in the mail. Watching The Watchmen by Dave Gibbons. So somebody, I can't remember who, asked me of like favorite comic book series of all time, or just favorite comic book series. I don't know if they were asking of all time, but Watchmen is one of them. I think just because the level at which the storytelling, the writing was great, but just the storytelling by Dave Gibbons in it just blew me away. And the story that they were telling for sure was awesome, interesting. It was back when deconstructing heroes was not the norm, like deconstructing superheroes. And it just the timing of when it came out and how it was executed was incredible. And this was around the same time as like Dark Knight Returns, so it was really like reinventing what superheroes were, giving people a new look of like darker, more realistic superheroes. So I love Watchmen. I've talked about things that I like about Watchmen in past streams before, and there's plenty to discuss on Watchmen. But this book in particular, they've released varying different versions of Watchmen. They've deluxe editions, absolute editions. I've read an annotated edition where they've printed out like the script and annotations. Like they've had historians, comic historians look at like, oh, this is a reference to blah, 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 and like kind of break it down. It's kind of nuts, kind of super nerdy. But this book I saw in a used bookstore, and I wasn't sure, like, what is this other edition of Watchmen? Like, how many editions of Watchmen can I have? But this one's awesome because, one, the book was designed by Chip Kidd, who is a great book designer, and he's done one of the most popular things he's done as far as comics is concerned is he designed the Batman the Animated Series art of book, which is amazing. I've shown it on stream here before. So the fact that Chip Kidd designed this book, as crazy as that sounds, makes me like take a second look, because he designs art of books really different and awesome, and they have this like scrapbook, like tangible quality to it, like the way he scans stuff in and lays it out, and it's just awesome. And he does it here with this Watchmen. So that's cool. And then the other thing I love about it is it's a lot of this is material that's taken from Dave Gibbons himself, I'm assuming. So Dave Gibbons being the artist on this book. And so a lot of it is his behind the scenes stuff, like this kind of stuff. My gosh, this just gets my heart racing to see this process stuff for iconic stuff like this. I love seeing like the color notes here and just the layouts here. Oh, it's beautiful. And the scans are gorgeous. Like you can really see the like buckling in the paper and the texture of the paper. So this is an awesome book. I haven't even finished going through the whole thing, but it's really great. If you like Watchmen, if you like the art that went into it, this is a worthy find, and you can find them relatively cheap. It's not, you can get them for, I don't know what the cover price on this book was. Cover price on this book was $40, 40 US dollars, but you can get this for 20, I think, at a lot of used bookstores. But it's just cool to see, look at this scan. I mean, Dave Gibbons is so good. One of the best British comic book artists. But I love seeing a combo of like finished art like this and then the process sketches. And there's a lot of process sketches. I'll fast forward here. They give like history. This is Alan Moore doing some drawings of himself as they were figuring out like the title pages for the characters. I love this. These little scrap pieces of paper. This was like an old drawing of one of the characters in Watchmen is Night Owl, but Dave Gibbons he came up with the name Night Owl because it's based on a old character he had as a kid, he was drawing as a kid. But yeah, this stuff, this is back when the character Rorschach had like a full bodysuit, like a flasher, which is super awesome. Yeah, I love this. Look at these little like Rorschach images, ink blot images that Dave Gibbons did. He's like figuring out Rorschach's character. 85, man, oh man, 85. That's 40 years ago this year. My goodness. But yeah, it's just an awesome compilation. It's just like page to page, wall to wall of sketches and behind the scenes work. This is like his script that he highlighted, that he got, the typed script he got from Alan Moore, and he highlighted what he thought was important. This is what Chip Kidd does so good. But I wanted to get really, I love this. Look how powerful that sketch is. It's a very iconic image of the comedian from this series. And there it is. I remember growing up and seeing this ad for Watchmen. Such a powerful drawing, but it's so cool that you see it all here. Like, it's all there in the rough sketch already. But I wanted to get to... Look at these. Look at these layouts. These really rough thumbnail layouts of every page from the book. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Look at that. When I saw this in this book, I'm like, I need to have this now. Like, this is important for me to consume. It's great. Some scans of like the pencils compared to the finished page. This is cool. You just talk like the simple design of the room. And then you see how it's applied here in that image. But I love these rough, these rough sketches are amazing. Like that could be a poster on my wall. My gosh, I could sleep underneath a blanket of these. I just love this stuff so much. I love it because it's like you can see he's already figured it out at this simple stage. Like before you even got to the amazing finish, he already figured it out. It's so beautiful to me. And I had mentioned this previous streams, but he's working at this like strict 9-panel grid, which is beautiful. It's really challenging and awesome. Speaking of Spider-Man, dope sketch. My new Australian neighbor moved to the States 35 years ago. Sounds like he just arrived. Accent is hard to shake. That's right. I like the art and colors of the Watchmen more than the story. Oh, serious? Didn't like the story. Really? What didn't you like about the story? Was it the ending? A lot of people like hate the ending. I'd want to learn to sound like your neighbor, Mark. It's awesome. I like it. I need to revisit the Watchmen story. It's worth reading for sure, or rereading. Yeah, it's a great tale. Like, I think that's the thing with. Look at this. Oh my gosh, this was like, so one diagonal. This was his chart of when he would complete the pages. One diagonal for a penciled page, one for an inked page, one for the morning, one for the afternoon. Red square was the deadline for the final issue. Crazy. Yeah, I think Watchmen, I always repeat these same books, but Watchmen, Dark Knight Returns, Batman Year One, after reading those books, those were books that for sure made me go, oh my gosh, you can do this with comics? Like with comic books, you can tell this kind of story with a comic. And that's a tall order. That's a tall order. Like you can wow people with cool images and crazy characters and awesome action, but to tell a story as complex and nuanced and like insightful and just like full of depth, like Watchmen or like Dark Knight Returns in a comic book is like crazy. Am I the only one that like, look at this. This is beautiful. Here's him figuring out the 9-panel. I love this. I'm going to definitely use something like this. Like without even drawing anything in it, already figuring out where he was going to break that 9-panel and the kind of impact it would have as a whole. It's brilliant. So good. So yeah, this book is chock full of it. It's like so deep with these images. I love that they were able to keep all the, look at the colors. Oh, so good. These are like the original pages he did watercolor study, or the colorist did watercolor studies on to figure out. And this is when they had like a limited palette. Oh my gosh. Amazing. It's just chock full of all this stuff. So many good pages in this. And then some scans of the original. It's sad too, because Alan Moore has this. He has this reputation. He's kind of a recluse and of just hating on comics and superhero comics now. But hearing Dave Gibbons share some stories about how they met, which is at the beginning of this book, how they met, how they started off working on Watchmen, and it sounded like he loved it, like he loved comics so much. So it's really sad that became a curmudgeon after a certain point. Anyway, it's a good book. If you like The Watchmen, I recommend this a lot, and like to see the process of what went into it. This is a good one. This is a good one to have. Michael Bancroft says it insists upon itself. It's too pretentious. We are so smart. Comics are so smart. It is worth reading, though. I just don't love it. That's fair. That's fair. It's not everybody's cup of tea. But for me, it was so impactful. Again, goes back to that, like, wow, you could do this with comics? That's like similar to what got me to fall in love with animation. It was like I would watch, for me, it was The Little Mermaid. I watched that movie and I walked out of it going, wait, people drew that? Like, there was an artist drawing that. That is, yeah, mind-blowing. They'll be watching. Fat Fingered. What are we talking about? Alan Moore's Many Things. He is. But he was a great writer on this one, at least. And they also changed the ending. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending for the comic book. They preferred the ending to the movie better. I don't know. I liked both of them. I actually did. And I gotta watch the movie again, because I remember watching the movie, I was very unsure of what Zack Snyder how he was going to handle this. But they were trying to be so accurate to the book, and I felt like he was, did that. And I walked out of that movie okay, that was a pretty good rendition of Watchmen. I was surprised at how I liked it. And then I even enjoyed even though it was different, I even enjoyed the TV series from HBO that came out, the Watchmen TV series. So, I don't know. Good stuff. Okay, let's wrap it up here. Oh, perfect timing. This is perfect timing to wrap up. I'm glad I have the king making sure they don't do anything to me. I have the king. Okay, I'm missing this. Old wizard dude criticizes comics. Yes. Yeah, he is kind of a wizardy, like literally, right? Alex Connolly. What's up, Alex Connolly? Makes me think about how hard the artist working on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Incredible stuff. There's hundreds of artists working on that. Spider-Verse the first one is unbelievable. The second one is amazing. It was a little ratcheted too much for me, but I still loved it. But yeah, the first one was unbelievable. And they're great art of books for that too. You can see those. Michael Bancroft says, I didn't like V for Vendetta at all, but I love the movie. Maybe my favorite. Wow. Okay, so that's a movie I got to go back and watch. V for Vendetta. And that was directed by somebody who was like a progeny of the Wachowski brothers. I forgot what his name was. I think he was like a second unit director under the Wachowskis, the guys who directed The Matrix. But I never read V for Vendetta, dare I admit it. And a lot of that has to do with the artwork. I was just like, I I can't get in. Like, I wish they picked a totally different artist on it. Like, it could be the same exact layouts, but just the finishes on that artwork, they didn't grip me. It was just like, it just felt. Other than that cover, the classic V for Vendetta cover, and as a kid, I always thought that was the Joker on that cover. Yeah, the interior artwork, I never got into it. I should try and read it. I should. If I say I love comics, I should try and give V for Vendetta a read. And then watch that movie again, because I did watch it once in the theater. I think I walked out of that like kind of depressed. It is kind of a depressing movie. But I watched it because of Natalie Portman at the time. I mean, she was amazing. So thanks for that reminder, Bancroft. I want to be where the... Careful, I might break into song just reading those lyrics, Lindsay Rose. Yeah, don't get me started on Little Mermaid. If pretentious was a person, would it insist upon a Prius? Have you seen those bumper stickers that says, I love my Prius, says no one ever. The new Watchmen art is unbelievably good in a highly rendered kind of way. The new Watchmen art. Oh, was that Doomsday Clock? Is that the one you're talking about, Bancroft? Because Doomsday Clock was actually by the guys that are doing Ghost Machine now. I think it was Gary Frank, Doomsday Clock, and Jeff Johns, I think it's them. So yeah, that was really good. I like Doomsday Clock a lot. And then they also did a Before Watchmen, which it was just a mini series, and they had all sorts of different artists work on it, and it was kind of a prequel to Watchmen. But one of the best Before Watchmen story arcs, one of the best ones was done by Darwin Cook, who he's awesome. My favorite, one of my favorites. Alex Connolly, what's up? Great seeing you here. Alex Connolly, thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed, anybody who hasn't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. We're on our way. We're making our way forward, onward with subscribers and such. But yeah. V, the movie is timeless. All right, cool. I got to watch it again now. That makes sense. It was superbly made and rewritten for the screen. Yeah. Now I'm going to watch that movie. Yeah, me too. The art is rough. I almost feel like somebody, wouldn't that be cool to like not change it at all, but just redraw it, because it was just the style. I think the artist's name was David Lloyd. He must have been like a UK artist that had connections to Alan Moore or something. Like, I don't know what else David Lloyd did. I think it's David Lloyd. But I just was like, what is this? Like, yeah. He still plays on that Agent of Chaos trope. I've not seen V for Vendetta either. The Rorschach. Oh, the Rorschach book. I didn't read that one. Yeah, I didn't read that one. Check out Doomsday Clock. That one was cool. They tried to merge. It wasn't 100% awesome, like perfect, but they tried to merge the DC characters with the Watchmen characters. And then, but yeah, some of those Ghost Machine guys were working on that before they formed Ghost Machine. So it's super good. I think Rocky should, no. All right, cool. So there we go. That's our My Wednesday Comics today. So awesome to be able to share that with you guys. I'm glad we were able to fit that in and make up for the lost day last week. Some good things that came out today. Some books I dropped from my list for varying reasons, but like dropping books like Absolute Superman and what else did I drop? I think it was Transformers. But I'll probably keep picking up Transformers. But just officially dropping it off my list gives room for other books like, like this one, like Exquisite Corpses. If this first issue hits and like the story's really solid, I'll latch in, because the concept or the story structure that he's building into is really fascinating. So I can see that being fun to follow through. So yeah, you got to make room for the new guys. Give them a chance. Battle Beast is another one I'll give a chance. Planet Death. Remember we looked at that book a couple weeks ago. That one is going to for sure be on my pull list because that one looks amazing. So yeah, you got to make room. Can't buy them all. I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. So, but hopefully once we get to paid subscriptions, then I can buy them all, guys. You guys can help me. You can fund the yap. That's going to be the next catchphrase. Fund the yap. Then I'll get nobody subscribing. Anyway. All right, time to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for being here. It was really awesome hanging out with you all and talking comics as usual. It's a blast. It really makes my week, and it gives me something to look forward to the coming week. Like I said, every Wednesday comes around and just gets me excited. What can you expect? What's coming up next is Master Study. So for those of you who don't know, I do a series called Master Study, and I've been recreating a Frank Miller Daredevil page from the 80s live on stream, creating it from scratch, from blank page to finished inks. Pretty much finished all the inks the last stream. So go back and watch that on the playlist that I set up. You can look it up, Master Study Frank Miller playlist. And I've done other artists as well. Mike Zeck, Michael Golden, Mobius, Jim Steranko, Barry Windsor Smith, Will Eisner. So you can go see all those playlists on my channel. And so I finished up the Frank Miller one, but what we do have left on that is I'm going to try and do some halftone or screen tones, or they also called zipatones, because the original art that Miller and Klaus Janson, the inker, did, had some screen tones on it. So rather than not trying it out, I thought, hey, this might be a cool time to try that technique and see if I like it. I've seen some modern day comic artists use halftones, screen tones, and it's a pretty involved process, like cutting it out, whiting out stuff, pasting it down. So it's a little bit involved, but hey, that's what these master studies are for. It's to hone the craft and figure out new techniques that I've never tried before, and hopefully in the future maybe apply them to my own work. So that's what I'm waiting for. I'm actually waiting to get some in the mail. I ordered some, and I might go also to my local art store and see if they have some as well. So yeah, I'm waiting for that to come in, and then I will do that. That will probably be the final stream for that master study, is trying out the technique. Hopefully it's not a disaster. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Hopefully that'll happen between now and next Wednesday, the next My Wednesday Comics. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Hit the like and subscribe and all that jazz, and hopefully you can get the notification for that next stream. All right, that's it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Have a great Wednesday and a great rest of your week. Go check out Bancroft's Art Share coming up later today, and go talk about comics and K-Values and V for Vendetta. Awesome seeing you all. I will catch you later. Have a good night.